Alrighty, what's up guys? Another day, another video here. We're just gonna jump right into it. So I was browsing on Poshmark as I usually do to find good sneaker deals, and I came across this made in USA gray pair of New Balance 997s for a pretty good price. They had them listed up for $50. Hit them with a super low ball and we ended up agreeing on like $20, so not bad at all for a made in USA New Balance. If you couldn't tell by those past screenshots, part of the reason why they're so cheap is because they're in pre-owned condition. You know, there's signs of wear, dirt, etc. throughout the sneaker. So this video is going to be a little experiment here, see if we could revive these, clean them up, and bring them back to new life. This is going to be a pretty contentious video as well because I know there are a lot of sneaker purists out there, and New Balance purists especially, that don't like suede and water mixing. But we're going to give it a shot. We're throwing these in the washing machine if you couldn't tell by the title of this video. I'll show you the steps I took and see what happens. So as you can tell, this is what they look like out of the box. They're clearly worn, and they're worn by a stranger, so part of the rationale I have behind putting these in the washing machine is to fully sanitize them. As much as I preach buying used sneakers to get good deals, you know, feet are gross and having the germs and junk from others probably isn't ideal. So yeah, this is me just kind of taking a thorough look at them. You could see the stains, scuffs, etc. throughout the sneaker. They're generally in pretty good shape, so I think this cleanup should be pretty nice if all goes well. And then here is just an additional look at them in the daylight. Like I mentioned just now, standard wear and tear, not super beat, not super dirty, but you know, enough to show signs of wear. So we're going to start off at the kitchen sink here. If you couldn't tell, I removed the shoelaces and the insoles just to better get into these nooks and crannies of these sneakers. I whipped up this little potion. It's literally just cold water and dish soap, and I'm using a brush to clean the soles. You know, it's kind of different throwing in sneakers into the washing machine versus clothes. There's no agitation being done really to these rubber outsoles, so unless you scrub them with a hard bristled brush, dirt and stuff isn't going to come out. So something to make note of. And when cleaning rubber soles and outsoles, I do like using dish soap versus any other cleaning agent because it is a degreaser, and you know, rubber is meant to withstand a lot of things, so you shouldn't do any harm to the rubber material by using dish soap. So with the soles cleaned up, we're moving along to the uppers here. I'm just using regular laundry detergent, you know, the same you use on your clothes. Here I have like a soft bristled toothbrush, as well as the other brush that I use to clean the outsoles. As you can tell, I quickly pivot between both. I think that bigger brush is meant for a larger surface area at the uppers versus the little toothbrush more so like the small nooks and crannies and hard to reach areas mainly. And here we are just giving them a scrub. You don't want to apply too much pressure because the suede material is quite delicate compared to something like leather. And we're really going to town here, right? I'm getting the toe, the mid panels, everything in sight. And I guess this is a good time too to mention sort of just buying used sneakers in general. I know there's a lot of hesitation from folks because, you know, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it is pretty gross if you think about it in concept. You know, you're essentially just putting on someone's shoes, you don't know where their feet have been, etc. But my take on it is, if you're doing something like this and putting it through the washing machine and scrubbing out all of this nastiness, then I don't really mind it. You think of the renaissance of the thrift store, and you think of all these people buying vintage tees and jackets and denim. All of that stuff has been previously owned and worn with zero history, and people find it okay to wear that stuff. And when you do compare it to like thrifted or used clothes, I think it's so commonplace to just throw things in the washer with laundry detergent and, you know, extra additives, and people assume it's clean, which 9 times out of 10 it is. So why can't you apply that same logic to sneakers? And I think just generally people don't really know how to clean sneakers or have thought to clean sneakers like this. So really, to just close out this tangent, I think used sneakers are worth buying if you're okay with condition and know how to clean them. So we've moved down to the basement now and just threw this stuff into the washing machine. I have some additional rags in there to sort of just buffer the noise. And here I'm tossing in some OxiClean as well as just a touch of standard laundry detergent just to make sure I'm covering all my bases and, you know, making sure everything is clean. So I have it running on cold. You could hear the washer now, and we'll come back in 35 minutes when it's all done. But fortunately for you, we can jump to it right now. So here they are with the wash done. You can see things shifted around just because the spin cycle at the end does get pretty intense. If you want to make sure things don't shift around, maybe throw in some more stuff into the wash, although let it be some old rags or towels, nothing new like clothes or bath towels or anything, just because, you know, shoes are dirty. And here they are in better lighting. They do look pretty saturated with water, although they are as dry as can be out of the wash, that is. Again, that spin cycle does get pretty intense, but there's a lot of moisture that does get taken out compared to as if you hand wash these and saturate them with water. So by the looks of it, stains and stuff were removed. They do look pretty clean, but because they are wet, they do look pretty dark and damp. So the next step is to dry them. Here I have them in front of our Dyson tower fan, which I recommend getting if you don't have one. Not for sneaker use, but just for general house purposes. It's a nice fan. You could put them in front of any sort of tower or box fan. And then alternatively too, if it's a nice day out and you have the space, keep them outside, let them sit in the sun, let some breeze hit them, and they should dry naturally as well. After a few hours or even overnight, they should be fully dry. So last step, and arguably the most important step here, is to get a suede brush and reset the nap on these. And what I mean by that is that, you know, you go through the wash cycle, and suede is a delicate material, so it's all matted, pushed down, hard and rigid to the touch, etc., etc. So by using the suede brush and just going back and forth on it, it should rejuvenate the suede and have that sort of stroke to it, that color change when you shift your fingers through it when it's all said and done. Similar to when I was using that brush in the laundry detergent, you don't want to apply too much pressure, especially at this step. The bristles on this brush are a lot stiffer. They're kind of like an iron brush in a way. And essentially what this brush does, it takes a fine amount of the material off to get to that underneath layer. I like to compare it to like waxing a car or using like a fine grit sandpaper on drywall. It takes off a slight touch of the top material to get to that sort of fine and rich area, if that makes any sense. I'll have some stuff linked down in the description if you're looking to buy a suede brush very similar to this one. And here's a little before and after. The left is pre-brush, right is after, night and day difference. And all that's left to do at this point is just lace up the sneakers and see how they really look. Here's another before and after. This one is from the beginning of the video, how I received them in the mail versus after. So not sure if you could tell via camera, but there is a really big difference after that clean, and I'm ecstatic at how these turned out. You see the suede here is super clean, super buttery. Not 100%, not brand new obviously, but for all intents and purposes, for cleaning things up and being able to wear them, really great. So here they are on feet. These are definitely going to be keepers in the collection. I think I'm going to keep them at the doorstep as sort of an everyday wear. This 997 Made in USA is pretty hard to find these days in this gray makeup, so it's perfect to add as literally a rotational piece. I think they look amazing on feet. I think I saved myself a ton of money as well, so I'm really content with how this video came out. I love making content like this, so let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. If you have any questions about anything I did, I'm happy to answer. A lot of stuff that I'm going to plug in the description, including my Instagram, my eBay page, all that good stuff. Other than that, enjoy the rest of the on-foot shots, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.